Imagine raising a child for 2 decades, pouring in love, time, and millions, only to discover she was never yours. Now imagine the woman you trusted most, the one who called herself your wife, knew it all along. And your own teammate? He did too, and said nothing. This isn't a soap opera. This is real life. Doug Christie just detonated one of the most shocking lawsuits in celebrity and sports history, one that may rewrite the definition of betrayal. And what comes next might burn down everything Jackie Christie ever built. Doug Christie wasn't just betrayed, he was played. After decades of silence, he's filed a civil lawsuit against his wife Jackie Christie and NBA legend Chris Webber, his former teammate. The charges: paternity fraud, identity deception, emotional distress, and financial manipulation. But it wasn't just the betrayal, it was the scope. Doug is demanding over $4.2 million in damages, citing school tuition, medical bills, lavish parties, gifts, and emotional harm. But this lawsuit isn't just about money. It's about a lie that stretched 20 years deep into his life and identity. The truth came out in the form of 2 DNA tests. One confirmed Chris Webber is 99.998% likely to be Chantel's biological father. The second confirmed Doug has 0 biological connection. For Doug, the child he raised with unwavering love and pride wasn't his. It didn't stop there. Jackie's journal entries were leaked, admitting she knew all along. A voicemail surfaced, Jackie warning Chris to stick to the narrative. Even her VH1 contract falsely claimed Chantel was Doug's biological child. She didn't just lie in private, she lied to the world. Jackie Christie's brand crumbled almost overnight. Her podcast was canceled, endorsements pulled, real estate deals died in silence. VH1 quietly paused Basketball Wives syndication, citing morality clause violations. And Chris, he didn't issue a statement. He changed legal counsel, fired his publicist, and vanished. Doug, meanwhile, kept silent. He wasn't chasing attention. He was preparing his case. But just when the dust seemed to settle, Jackie made a fatal mistake. According to sources close to the case, she attempted to bribe her own daughter, the very person at the center of this lie. 2 days after Doug's legal team requested Chantel for deposition, Jackie's assistant reportedly hand-delivered an envelope containing $15,000 in cash and a note that read, "You don't have to get dragged into this. Let your folks deal with it. I'll look after you." That envelope never made it to silence. Chantel photographed everything, kept the note, and turned it over to Doug's attorney. Jackie was hit with a cease and desist in under 24 hours. The damage? Already done. Doug broke his silence inside the courtroom. Under oath, he said, "I spent 20 years defending Jackie's reputation. Now I see I wasn't protecting a woman. I was protecting a lie." He described sleepless nights, moments of suspicion he ignored, and a deep moral pain that grew louder every year. Then Jackie took the stand and unraveled. She admitted she suspected from year one that Chantel wasn't Doug's. She claimed stress, confusion, pressure, but her contradictions piled up. When pressed about marking Doug as the father on the birth certificate, she responded weakly, "The nurse just asked." I was under stress. It didn't hold, especially not after Chris Webber entered the room. No lawyers, no entourage, just him, walking like a man facing judgment. His testimony, quiet but devastating. Jackie told me there was a chance I was Chantel's father. I stayed silent to protect them. I regret that silence for the rest of my life. That one sentence made him legally liable, not just for emotional harm, but financial fraud. With DNA proof, journal confessions, witness tampering, and a confirmed conspiracy, the court ruled Jackie Christie liable for paternity fraud, identity deception, and emotional manipulation. Ordered to pay $2.9 million, Chris Webber jointly liable for willful concealment and emotional damage, ordered to pay $1.7 million. Doug Christie legally declared the victim of a 20-year deception. Fully cleared, Jackie's empire gone, her career silenced, her daughter publicly severed the tie. Even Chris admitted via public note, "I made mistakes. I kept quiet far too long. I hope Chantel knows how proud I am of being her father. Doug might forgive me one day." But forgiveness wasn't the court's concern. The most powerful voice came last, Chantel herself. In a press conference outside the courtroom, standing beside Doug, she said, "Doug Christie is the only father I've ever known. Chris may be my biological link, but Doug is my family." She then announced a legal name change and the upcoming release of her memoir, Built on Lies: My Life as Someone Else's Daughter. Jackie's legacy died that day, not with screams, with silence. Doug didn't celebrate, he didn't gloat. He turned down reality TV offers, documentary deals, book rights. Instead, he joined a national organization fighting for paternity fraud awareness. In his words, "This isn't just my story anymore. It's the story of thousands. I won't stop until every one of them has a voice." This wasn't just a personal betrayal. It was a blueprint for emotional fraud, broadcast to millions. Jackie Christie didn't just deceive Doug, she weaponized love, parenting, and trust as branding tools. For 2 decades, the public watched what they thought was a united couple. The romantic image, the loyalty, the overprotective, almost obsessive love Jackie showed for Doug on camera. Fans admired it. They called her ride or die. But behind that devotion was a lie, one she tightly controlled with silence and performance. She didn't just hide the truth, she monetized it, built shows around it, took brand deals using it. That false narrative of a tight-knit, loyal family was her currency. Court documents later revealed staggering details about the money trail. Jackie received consulting fees from TV production companies that didn't exist on paper. Offshore payments, LLCs linked to shell accounts. The illusion was so carefully maintained, it fooled networks, brands, and even her closest friends. When Doug's attorneys subpoenaed her financials, they discovered hundreds of thousands in parenthood-themed marketing campaigns that specifically referenced Doug as her co-parent and Chantel as their beautiful daughter. All based on falsehoods. This wasn't carelessness, this was strategy. Jackie understood her brand wasn't just her name, it was the family image. Destroy that, and you destroy the empire, which is exactly what happened. And then there's Chris Webber, a Hall of Fame career, 5-time All-Star, NBA Finals appearances. And yet, when it came to the most important decision of his life, he said nothing. For years, he showed up at family gatherings, games, red carpets. His relationship to Chantel, disguised as Uncle Chris. But he knew. Jackie told him early on there was a chance, and he made a choice. Say nothing. Let another man bear the burden. Let Doug raise the child. Let the lie continue. Because silence was easier. Some say he did it to avoid drama, others say it was guilt. But the result was the same. Doug was robbed of the truth, while Chris continued to play the long game in the background. The court called it willful emotional concealment. Social media called it cowardice. Once court transcripts leaked, the hashtags began: number justice for Doug, number built in lies, number protect fathers. Even verified NBA players weighed in. One retired guard wrote, "Doug Christie was always a stand-up man. This question mark. This makes my blood boil." Fans flooded VH1's comments demanding a full removal of Jackie Christie from all franchise history. Podcasts dissected the emotional manipulation, and advocacy groups latched onto Doug's story to push for new legislation around paternity deception. What started as a personal tragedy turned into a national movement. Lost in the headlines is Chantel, the young woman whose life was twisted into a script. She didn't choose the lie, she lived inside it. She was used as a prop, a brand mascot, a tool for performance. But behind the lights and the hashtags, she was a girl wondering why Uncle Chris cried every time he saw her, why her mother dodged paternity questions, why something always felt off. And when the truth finally came, she didn't run. She faced it. Her memoir, Built on Lies, is already predicted to be a bestseller, not because it's juicy, but because it's real, honest, human. In one leaked excerpt, Chantel writes, "I don't blame Doug. I don't blame Chris. I blame the idea that love can be weaponized, that family can be manufactured, that truth is optional if the lie is profitable." That line alone went viral. When the trial ended, paparazzi swarmed the courthouse. Jackie emerged first, head down, sunglasses on, lips pressed shut. Her team issued a brief statement. "We respectfully disagree with the verdict and are weighing options." There was no apology, no responsibility. Chris released a single paragraph, part confession, part plea. "My silence was a mistake. I can never take it back, but I can start by telling the truth." Doug and Chantel left last. No fanfare, no press team, just a father and daughter, choosing honesty over headlines. This wasn't just about one family. It was about power, gender, loyalty, deception, and the legal gray areas between them. A woman turned paternity into profit, a man turned silence into survival, and another man turned betrayal into justice. So, what do you think? Should Jackie Christie face criminal charges for identity manipulation? Should Chris Webber be allowed to continue in NBA Hall of Fame appearances? Should Chantel ever forgive the people who twisted her life for fame? And what about Doug? Was his silence strength? Or did he wait too long? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Don't sugarcoat it. This isn't entertainment, it's a reckoning. Subscribe if you believe truth still matters. Because what's coming next might burn even brighter than this.